Converting likes into dollars is a concept that has developed over the last decade and has quickly become one of the fastest growing tools companies are using to boost sales. Massive companies such as Red Bull, Calvin Klein, and Pepsi are getting huge social media personalities to endorse and promote their brands with the hopes of boosting their sales. In 2014, consumers made 10% more purchases than they had the year before because of the social media influence. In a study done in 2015, it was found that social media had the biggest influence on travel, investment services, and luxury goods, where there was upwards of a 40% reliance on social media recommendations. This new trend of social media is a turning point in sales. But some ask the question, is social media just a trend, or is it a sustainable form of sales? And if it is, how are companies able to turn these likes into real dollar value?
Today's consumers are more educated than they have ever been, and conduct much of their research before purchasing a product or service. Meet the millennials. They're born between 1980 and 2000. This is the first generation of digital natives, and their relationship with technology shapes how they shop. They use social media to compare prices, source product information, and conduct peer reviews. According to Goldman Sachs, one of the largest generations in history is about to move into their prime spending years. You must adapt your selling process to leverage social media in order to sell to the millennial economy. 91% of global brands use 2 or more social media platforms. If your company is not on a social media platform, then you're falling behind. There are now more than 2.3 billion active social media users, and up to 87% of those users are millennials. But social media is different than other advertising platforms because it is far more interactive. It's social. Businesses have the opportunity to hear from their target market and gain an understanding about their preferences and interests in order to tailor product offerings and their selling process. The selling process is changing because of social media. Research from the UK alone states that 69% of sales teams think the buying process is changing faster than sales organizations are responding. 71% believe that being a salesperson will be radically different in 5 years, and 93% of sales teams have received no training using social media. Before social media, researching prospects before meeting for the first time was challenging. Sure, you could check out a website, download an annual report, and look at trade associations. But today, salespeople can go so much deeper. With relatively little effort, browsing social media can identify who the key individuals are within the organization, the level of engagement the prospect has with its own customers, and what its customers are complaining about. Armed with this information, your salespeople can develop a personalized pitch. There has never been a better time to leverage social media tools to find new customers. Personalize the sales pitch, keep an eye out for competition, and prevent customer
There are several theories that have suggested consumers develop a serious psychological bond with the people they are following. Social impact theory states that people are influenced by large groups that have a strong presence in their lives. Therefore, people are more likely to be influenced by a product if it is perceived as important by their reference. One of the ways experts recommend creating this bond is by continually updating content on a profile so that people develop more of a connection because they feel part of the Instagram personality's life. The second theory is called the propinquity effect. This theory states that the more we interact with someone, the more likely they are to become our friends. Social media stars are constantly updating their profiles. The third theory is called the social comparison theory, which essentially states that we socially compare ourselves when we want to be liked by others. Businesses use this to benchmark themselves against competition. This is the theory that explains why branding is so important. For example, let's say that both Nike and XYZ offer a black sports tank top for exercising. People will automatically resort to the Nike brand simply because that is a brand that is known by a greater number of people than a no-name brand from a discount store.
Many CEOs talk about how social media and digital platforms are the future and that their companies are adapting in order to take full advantage. However, in reality, there is very few that understand the complex triangulation between consumers, a product, and social media, and how the three, when successfully managed, can increase a brand's profile and generate higher sales.
So let's now explore a company that used social media to increase its sales.
Emerson Salon is a small hairdressers based in Washington. They are a typical SME and have used social media to grow their business and achieve substantial increase in sales. 2 Washington-based entrepreneurs decided to buy and renovate a hairdresser based in Washington. After buying the premise and spending $40,000 on decoration, they were understandably very short on money. Unable to spend any on a marketing campaign, they got social media savvy and created a full strategy from website to Facebook fan page. At the center of their strategy was their blog and a website that was used to generate great content. The Facebook fan page and the Twitter account then drove traffic to both the blog and the website. They asked customers for feedback and offered discounts. They kept the conversations alive by replying with urgency to messages. This grew their social media presence to 1,800 likes on Facebook, 14,000 Twitter followers, 75% of their clients coming from the internet, and a 400% increase in revenue over a 2-year period. And why did this work? There was a clear call to action on their website with a large Book Online button. They engaged customers authentically, consistently asking for feedback, and posted interesting content on their blog, all while staying true to their strategy.
With a strong social strategy, the use of social media can provide companies with an opportunity to boost sales. Your company can use it as a tool to learn more about your target market, as social media allows you to listen to what people are saying about your product, your brand, and the competition. Use this source to better understand the needs of your customers. Here's how you can get started. First, determine the best platforms to reach your potential prospects. To do this, ask yourself about who your target audience is. Think about their age, the lifestyle they live, and how they typically purchase products. Consider that 87% of millennials prefer to use Facebook. Also, it is important to keep in mind the type of product you're selling. For example, if it is a B2C sale, Facebook is a good tool to use. If your company focuses on B2B sales, LinkedIn is a more appropriate choice. Next, move on to creating content. It is important to focus on three main things: the platform you are using, the type of media you post, and the amount of promotional material. Tailor the types of posts to fit both your target audience and the social media platform. For example, Twitter should be used to listen and answer questions, while Facebook should be used to get content out to people. Make sure the content you post is varied. Consider using photos, videos, articles, or giving tips. Lastly, make sure to follow the 80-20 rule. 80% of the content you post should be informational, and only 20% should be promotional. Next, you want to connect and build relationships. Find and connect with people who like your product and brand, or who aspire to similar lifestyles as your target market. Make sure to build relationships. To do this, you want to comment and like what they are saying, answer their questions, and share what they post. While you are connecting and building relationships, make sure you are not selling to them. You want to get to know them first and listen and learn from them. Now engage in the conversation. Make each conversation meaningful. Provide information that is related to what your company offers and what your company knows how to do best. Make sure you establish your company as an expert. Lastly, you need to connect your efforts back to your business. You have now found the right people, listened to what they had to say, and built relationships. From engaging in conversation, you are able to recognize when someone realizes they have a problem. At that point, you are in the ideal spot to jump in and present your solution. To do so, message people privately on social media. You don't want to be the center of attention and have your efforts be perceived negatively. In the end, it's all about getting sales for your business. Make it easy for customers to purchase by including links that lead back to your website.
The key here is to be authentic. Develop a well-defined direction that reflects your brand's culture. Observe your community. Listen to your prospects to see how they communicate. And evaluate the conversation. What is it that you want to add? Communication can be split up into voice and tone. Voice is your brand personality. Tone uses specific characteristics based on the audience, situation, and channel. The voice is the mission statement, and the tone is the application of that mission statement. Another way to look at communication is through Stephanie Schwab's 4-part formula: persona, tone, language, and purpose. Persona is all about who your brand sounds like. Language: what kind of words will you use? And purpose: why are you on social media in the first place? You should cultivate a voice that delights your customers, because delighted customers talk positively about your brand and generate new content. In a study conducted by Accenture, there are 4 main organizational weaknesses that cause vulnerabilities on social media: ambiguous policies, unclear roles, inconsistent processes, and system vulnerabilities. Data can be misused by employees or non-employees accidentally or intentionally. The resulting risks are brand damage, financial loss, and fraud, among others. The risk mitigation strategies are to become a risk-aware culture, monitor governance, establish formal roles to handle communication functions, develop a model for crisis management, and manage systems for data protection, security, and storage. Communicating via social media differs across generations. Generation X is between 39 and 49 years of age. 48% of them have a Twitter account, but less than half are active users. However, Pinterest may be the best option depending on your business, as 36% of pinners are in Generation X. And of course, we have the baby boomers, aged 50 to 65. 58% visit a company's website after encountering the brand on social media. Facebook is likely to be a strong communication platform, as 84% of baby boomers have a Facebook account. These strategies, however, may be too broad. Focus in on your target market, learn how they communicate, and what their buying habits are like to understand which social platforms they use the most.
Our peer review was done by Matt Chalmers, who works at Home Medical Equipment and is a rehab and accessibility sales representative. Here's what Matt had to say about our video. The video was very well done with a lot of information. It kept me engaged and made me think a lot about my business and how social media does not have a larger impact on the healthcare industry yet. There are a variety of reasons for this, but it will need to change as time goes on due to the simple fact that this is how millennials do business and a variety of factors I will get into below. Healthcare at this point is largely based on relationships and word of mouth. It has been this way for a long time and for good reason. However, it does need to change as the millennials' parents age. At this point, the aging population did not grow up consuming products using social media. It is tough enough to get many people to use email, never mind social media. In saying that, as our parents age, it will be very important to market the brand of your company so that it is synonymous with the healthcare industry. As time goes on, the government will provide less dollars in funding per person, leading to many more private sales. It will be very important going forward for companies within this industry to market to the millennials who will be purchasing equipment for their parents. Many people are very unfamiliar with companies within this industry unless they actually need something. We need to have a much larger social media platform going forward. I think social media is shifting the role of the salesperson, but I think it affects each industry differently and can have less of an impact on certain industries at this very moment. Social media has not transformed the healthcare industry as of yet, but there will come a time where it will be very important for consumers to be able to go online and connect with sales representatives and the companies they work for. I've seen a larger push to market online within the last few years regarding home accessibility products. Many of these products are not funded by the government, and the people seeking this equipment online are looking to spend their money. I think the social media strategies in the video will assist in prospecting. A more interactive process of engaging the client in the whole process with the click of a button will always make it easier to sell to the client. Having a social media strategy will allow you to connect very easily to the client base. Right now, many of the products that are sold are funded by the provincial government, but over the last 5 years, there has been changes in government funding to reduce the amount each individual receives. I truly believe as time goes on, the funding dollars will only continue to decrease with the aging baby boomers. This will allow for more private cash sales, and in order to do that, you have to connect with the consumer using social media. Social selling has an effect on what I buy, and anyone who tells you differently is probably a liar. In saying that, I'm not an impulse buyer, and I don't use Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to interact in the process of buying too much. I use it mainly to seek out information on buying, but I would say I usually purchase most things in person based on information that I have read online.